the Triple D's or
Daddy-Daughter Discussion. I'm Tyron.
I'm Giselle.
So where are we going to start? You know, it's been a minute since you and I been on the air, on these airways.
I'm rusty.
You can't be rusty. This is so natural. This is just a discussion between a father and a daughter.
You think so? But like, these old bones, it's hard to get back up.
Oh, Lord. She's not old. She barely just turned a good 17.
I'm 16 years old. I'm 17 years old. I'm 17 now. I've lived long life.
Yeah, but she probably only remembered 10 years of it.
So I was there. Anyway, how was your week?
My week was great. It was just, I started subbing. Mm-hmm. So that was eventful. And it was also something that I have been wanting to do because I like to get back to the community. You know, I'm an activist. I was in Mississippi doing a protest at the city hall. So you know your dad. So it was a good week. What about yours?
Well, it's been not a relaxing week, but like a hopeful week because we're around the end of the year. Mm-hmm. So right now we're just studying in most of my classes, mostly AP. And when you're studying for the exam, that means you have nothing else afterwards. And I'm looking forward to that relaxation. Like in my third period after the exams, we're legit going to make gingerbread houses.
Okay.
So I'm excited to get the exams over with, get that college credit that I've earned at this point, and just be done with the year. Stressful junior year, man.
So you got some expectations?
I got some high expectations.
So actually that's what we're going to talk about
today. Expectations. What a segue. So I have a question.
Sure.
When you started subbing, what did you expect from it?
You know what? You probably will not believe this, but as I continue to matriculate through this life, one of the things that I've continued to try to, I won't say marginalize, but keep a tap over is my expectations. Mm. So I came in open-minded and I had like no expectations of the kids, no expectations of the location, because for me, I totally came in because I want to be an advocate for the school system. And what better way to understand it if I'm like teaching in it, doing my thing in it, right? So I can honestly say I did not have any preconceived expectation. What I will say is I had a lot of surprises that I didn't expect. You know, I didn't expect because of you girls, you and your sisters, your middle school years wasn't as tumultuous as I remember. Maybe I'm off, but the little girls seemed to be a little highly sexual. The little boys seemed to be overly just hyper and active, all over the place, and that's cool to them. So I'm like, that's new to me. So that is something that I didn't expect, even though I didn't come into arena. I don't know if that makes sense. Can I get a surprise even though I didn't expect it? Is that?
Yeah. So I was just, because a lot of things aligned for me. Like even we were supposed to do this podcast last weekend, but you said, you know what, let's wait. I want to like work on it a bit more. Mm-hmm. Funny thing, this week we read a poem, not a poem, but like an article in my second period English class, and it was all about expectations.
Really?
And the thing was, you can't set your expectations too high because that just ruins the happiness. Like happiness or surprises, joys in life they come more naturally and they give you more sustenance when you're not expecting them, when you're not trying to create them all the time. Mm-hmm. So that makes perfect sense because even though you didn't have expectations, you were pleasantly surprised or you still got something.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that aligns. Your poem aligned to my saying. You know, you remember the saying I always used to tell you girls?
You have a lot of sayings. Oh, manage your expectations.
Not that one. I say that, but I said expectations without communication. With not only with the other person, but within yourself.
You know, I wrote that down as one of my notes. Never expect anything without communication.
Mm-hmm. Because if you don't communicate your expectations, you're gonna have unchecked feelings and emotion that it's not fair to you. Mm-mm. You know, it's almost like, me working out, right? now my expectation is to get healthy. I'm off the medication, so I expect to lose the weight, in which I have. Now, if I had some expectation that by the end of this year I'm gonna have a 6-pack, I'm gonna probably be
a bit disappointed.
Hey, look, don't get off me. But that's the truth. That's the truth. So I have to. Not saying I can't. I just know that isn't my goal. So I have manageable goals that I can meet my expectations. So yeah, that communication caveat. Why did you write that down? Like that you think communication is important with expectations?
Well, you told us that quote like when I was like middle school or something, and it didn't stick with me with like manage your goals so they're achievable and you feel like joy when you reach them. Mm-hmm. But it's more like setting boundaries with others, because when you're young, you don't know your boundaries, you don't know other people's boundaries. Mm-hmm. So when I told you, I remember we were in Mississippi, I was like, Dad, please don't make me wash dishes. I don't like washing dishes. And when I communicated that with you, you didn't make me wash dishes in Mississippi. Thank God. I hate washing dishes.
In Mississippi? Oh, South Carolina.
Anywhere.
Oh, yeah. But I do recall you. I recall you mentioning that, and that's funny you said it because tonight after dinner, I didn't. I had the dishes, but I said clean the kitchen. I said wipe the counter.
I can clean the kitchen, but please don't make me touch those dishes.
Mm-hmm. And those are things. And I'm sorry if you hear me smacking because I'm drinking a glass of wine. Talking with my daughter. It's 7:47 Central Time here, 31 April 2023, and this is just me. This is how I get down. So if you don't like what you're hearing, tune off, please. But so yeah, communication is huge, and I think next week when we talk about Sunday we're gonna talk about love, and I'm not gonna really dabble into that, but that's why I really want us to talk about expectation.
To get that communication, that primary
we want to prime it. We want to prime it
you need to do it real good. Give that turkey a bit of a rub before you put it in the oven.
Yeah, and you see it even within not yourself or your sisters, like your older sister Ariana, like her expectations of herself. Sometimes when I tell her, it can be not manageable, and what that tends to do. And she's gotten a lot better this year, but what that tends to do is
it ruins your spirit.
Yeah.
Like if you can't reach that goal you set yourself towards, it just ruins your spirit, and you like blame yourself. Like, why couldn't I do that? I expected to do that. Things happen. And that's the thing. And Giselle, Bella is the same way. Hey, I'm sorry because I get with having 3 kids.
So Isabella's the same way. She tend to place high expectation on her goals in music. I wish she did that in algebra or
her other courses.
But she don't.
You know what? See, Bella, she doesn't struggle with setting high expectations for herself. It's boundaries. She struggles with boundaries. Like, I've communicated to her several times, leave me alone. Like, stop bothering me, stop poking at me. But she loves that reaction, so she just can't.
She can't resist it. And you know what?
We're working on it.
I will say this, that I have learned to, because mortality has, I went through cancer, I got shot, got blown up. So that thing called mortality has really arisen within me. Mm-hmm. So, and I think, I don't blame. I'm not going to tell Bella to stop doing that because you know what? Tomorrow's in promise.
Yeah, so it's like I might miss it one day.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Yeah. So enjoy the moment, and that's one thing that I have placed the expectations upon myself is to enjoy the moment that I'm in. Enjoy the second that I'm in. When you and I podcasting, it's you and I podcasting. When me and Bella is together doing our thing, it's me and Bella. When me and Ariana is together doing I'm enjoying the moments. Or me and Kim, I'm enjoying the moments. And I didn't know how to do that because I didn't know that I should have placed that expectation upon myself. So a question for you. I know I have clearly placed expectations upon myself. Have you placed expectations that you have for yourself, like just life in general?
Well, yeah. with the thing with Belle, like she would always bother me and all that. I put an expectation on myself. It was like, don't get so angry so fast. Like I expected myself to have more patience. And what do you know? When Bella bothers me, I don't hit her right away. I don't even hold my tongue. I don't feel angry anymore. That anger has slowly gone away. Yeah. So that's one expectation. And then in school, it's just like, manage your time, but don't overwhelm yourself. Like, don't let school consume you as much as it did when you were in middle school. Yeah. Because, like, you have no time for life if you do that.
And that's the funny thing. I didn't see that coming because I've never been that father because I never been that father. Like, you need to get all A's, you need to do this. I know what you guys are capable of doing, and I push you. Meaning, I make sure I know it, and I make you feel like, my daddy know this, and why do I know it? So it forces you to go do it, whether it's math, history, science, whatever. So placing those expectations upon yourself in school, that's important, what you just said. Any others?
Not that I could think about the top. Well, interact more this year. I expect myself to open up and, like, when people talk to me, not be so closed. And I've accomplished that because there's kids in my class, they come back to talk to me. So I think it's working. And I just made a friend today.
See? And so why do you think we place unreasonable expectations upon ourselves? Why do you think that? I have my own idea, but why do you think that?
Well, I think one reason is, like, what you see on the media and stuff. You see all these people, like, they could do this, they could do that. Like, when you see a child genius and they're doing all these great things at the age of 10, and you're like, I should be able to do that at the age of 20 or 17. So you have those unrealistic expectations. Like, when I had my SAT scores, I was like, I'm going to get a 1300, I'm going to do so well. I humbled myself when I got those scores.
But you still got pretty good.
I still got pretty good.
And the next time you're going to take it, but I get it. And and it's funny you say that because that's the exact thing I was going to say. Social norms have dictated how we navigate in this world.
Like how we should see ourselves. We should, like, our trajectory for the world. Like, if you're not, like, I think there's this thing, if you're not talking by, like, age 3 or, like, 3 months or something, you're considered not a failure, but, like, you're behind in life. When really it's just, you may learn a bit slower. Like, for me, I started tying my shoes by myself when I was, like, what, 5? Like, I was potty trained late too, and I'm not dumb. I was just slow when it came to stuff like that.
You just lazy.
I wasn't lazy because, like, I actually didn't understand tying my shoes. Like, I struggled. Like, my babysitter taught me, and it was like that.
I felt so bad because I was getting frustrated with your butt.
Yeah, but no, it wasn't laziness, I swear. I didn't understand it. Like, math too. Like, I'm that person, and it has to click for me before I understand it. But, like, tying my shoes, learning how to potty, just wasn't clicking.
And I agree with you. I'm the same way. And I want to double back, and I'm going to go back to this question we're talking about, do we have expectations? And remind me to, you asked me that same question. But when you was talking about Bella, I want you to also realize that you and Ariana have a relationship that you guys, I don't think you realize, but y'all kind of excluded Isabella.
Oh, I definitely know that.
And when you guys excluded her, she kind of she just
either get attention.
Yes, you guys. So you have to be mindful of that. And I did that. I was guilty of that with my baby brother. So I definitely understand that. But the question I ask you is,
do we have expectations upon her? No. What do you think? How do you think people put expectations? Blah 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 blah.
Yeah, and like I was saying, the social norms. You know, whether it's for me, and the funny thing is, I don't think that's a bad thing because when I look back in my trajectory, so where I was and where I am now, did I place? At one point, I didn't have any expectations, and then I had a point where it was high, and then I had to go back and reassess that, right? So I think as we go through this life, and even though, you know, you got me and your mother and other great people in your life, or loving and nurturing and caring people, you still gonna go through this thing called life, and you're gonna have your expectations. Like when you're in college, you're going to have this expectation. I already got in my mind. I got an idea of some of the things that you and your sister's going to do. Everything that I assume that you guys was gonna do, you guys did it. Like good, bad, or indifferent. You know why? Because we tend to. There are subtleties, but also there are things that surprisingly that y'all didn't do that surprised me.
I shook with you.
Yeah. So I appreciate that. I appreciate that type of expectation that was
You had low expectations, and it was like I just went above and beyond.
Yeah, like you did the thing. Like I didn't have let me get this clear, audience. I didn't have low expectations in terms of them, like education, smarts. Like they are my children. I'm not trying to brag on myself, but I'm pretty brilliant. I'm not going to tell people my ACT score 29, but
says we're not going to tell them as he tells them. Yeah, okay.
You know, 1400, stuff like that. But anyway, but I say all that to say that how you and your sisters have surpassed certain things that I did have certain expectation was how in tune and self-aware you ladies are. You probably more so than your sisters at times, and that's okay.
I remember the first conversations we would have. I think our conversations really started I remember we were in Mississippi. I forgot where we were, but it was late at night. We were driving to Papa's, just you and me, and we were just talking and talking. And I think that's I think you told me, you're one of the only people I could talk to, this deeply with. And I thought, you know what? Yeah, thank you. And I think that was the one time it hit me, we're actually talking. And I feel not that we're equals, but yeah, we are equals. And I was I'm talking to you, you're talking to me, we're discussing.
Yeah, because what I wanted to do, and I want to validate you to know that you had a voice. I wanted to validate your voice. A lot of things, how I even move and navigate from getting my locks to being so unapologetic to not trying to speak all proper. I'm cool how I speak, because you know what? This is how I speak, and this language was taken from us. Who are they to say that expect proper English is the only English you speak? Honestly, you don't know we don't realize how colonized we are, because that's how they have placed us.
I struggle with I don't know how much of I don't know if it's a stutter or what, but sometimes I'm pronouncing words and I'm I just sounded like a baby then. I don't know if it's a fat tongue or what, but some of the words I pronounce, it's why did I say it like that?
Some words you just get, our tongue doesn't do certain things, especially for the English language. At least for me. On this podcast, hey, I'm just speaking. I'm from the South. You know that I'm unapologetic, and I'm going to continue to be that way. I've been this way, I don't say forever, but probably more so since 2017. But what other things you have on your notes that you made?
Well, I put this thing. Someone not following your expectations of them should not be such a big pet peeve, because at the end of the day, they are their own person with expectations of themselves that oftentimes trumps yours.
That's true. Unless it's communicated, and it's just my opinion, we can dialogue on this. Unless I have communicated with you and you have communicated with me, and we have agreed outcome on expectation, and you deviate, right? So, and even that, saying it out loud, you're right. Because you know what? I need to give room to grace and give room for people to deviate from expectations. So, and that's why I love this podcast, because as I'm speaking, I change my mind just that quick,
Yeah, going back to that article I read in English class, I think it was we could have expectations all we want, but those expectations sometimes get in the way of life. I have expectations of you, but then that gets in the way of how you really are. Mm-hmm. And I may not be seeing you fully because I'm just expecting this out of you, or this something for you to wear, or something for you to say. Mm-hmm. And even if I'm pleasantly surprised.
And you know what's funny? You said it. That's one of the reasons that I believe, excuse me, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that you couldn't connect with me. Your expectations or how you saw me, right, wasn't what I was trying to show you. Like, I'm showing you who your dad. This is your dad. I'm human. I make mistakes. I fail, but I don't think in your mind. And people have done that to me. Maybe through this is therapy for me. For whatever reason, people have me on a pedestal like I'm perfect. And I have no clue. Like, they expect things that I have never discussed with them that I will not do. Why did you do that to me? Is this something of how I am?
Well, I'm your daughter, so I can't say like from a friend's perspective, but as a kid, you kind of see your dad or your mom and like maybe an idol. I didn't see it really as an idol, but more like he expects a lot from me. And I put those expectations onto myself so they became like interchangeable.
But where did you get that from? Because I never conveyed that to you.
Well, even sometimes it's like, even if you don't convey it verbally, it could be conveyed through like what you do, or like even if you don't say it directly, it could be said indirectly, like how someone interprets it. Mm-hmm. And that's why you always got to be mindful, like, how does this coming off? Because gotcha. I might not intend to say it like this, but the impact is greater than the intent. So, yeah, like as a kid, like you see your parent and you don't want to let them down. Yeah. So those expectations become your own. And then it's like, I saw you as this thing, like, I can't mess up around you because like you'll be super mad and like punish me. And then I kind of got older and I found myself. Yeah. Yeah, I think like most people, like if they don't know themselves truly, they let other people's expectations control their whole world and their whole mind, and like they can't separate like, yes, he has expectations, but I'm my own person.
You're your own person.
I'll see what I like and I'll see what I can do at the moment.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you don't know yourself that well, that thing, that like connection is just that border between others. It's just not there.
I think what you just said is something that grown women and men really still haven't got. If you do not know yourself,
you're just gonna let others.
You're gonna be always in your feelings. You're gonna always think that this person trying to change you. You don't want to, like, you can't be yourself. All those things, which is so far from the truth, and actually, it's unfair to the other person when like if I, without really communicating with you, and you haven't said, no, Daddy, I don't expect this of you, and I'm thinking that you expect these things, and I'm like reacting. I'm being unfair to you because I'm not conveying and communicating, and I can't, and I'm removing myself to be my authentic self because
of what I think that's where like a lot of child-parent relationships, I think that's where they go wrong. Like that communication is just not there of like what you expect from me and what I expect from you as a parent. Like I think the most important part of that is what the child expects of the parent. Like that's not often communicated because like the child is a child and that's your parent and you don't disrespect them. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, it's like I'm a person too, and I have some expectations that like I don't want to be crossed because like I have boundaries like don't make me wash dishes, please.
Now that only worked because I agreed upon it. You might have. So if I hadn't agreed upon it,
that would have broke our relationship. I'm sorry. I would have talked to you.
Yeah, you would have been okay. You would have been washing dishes.
I would have been okay in air quotations.
You just washed dishes a month ago.
Yeah, but like that's like I guess it's not. I don't like being forced to wash dishes because like that's like that's when it's extra dirty when you force me. Like when I do it myself, like you don't have to force me. Like I could do it myself. Like I could step up to the plate.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
That's in your room.
No, my room's clean. See, it has its phases. It's just chaotically clean. And that's my room. That's my room.
Yeah, I agree. No, but I like how you worded that in terms of parent-child relationship, which is very important. They different. I don't expect my relationship with you to be the same as it is with your sisters.
Yeah.
My relationship with Adi is different. My relationship with Isabella is different. And that's vice versa with you and your mother. It's different than how it is with me and you. So not good, not bad, just different. And it's authentic to you. So, but you said something that was very critical is, I got to go back to it, is knowing yourself.
Yeah.
Your self-identity. And I said this in a previous podcast, is one of the biggest important thing is, when I was in Egypt and I was in Cairo, or when I was in Sudan, is when you walk through, I'm going to take you guys. Not at your Bella's junior year, we all going to the continent. And we're going to stay about a good week, 2 weeks. Me, my girls, Kim, her girls, we all going. But with that being said, when you walk and you say, and the first thing you see or I saw was know thyself. Know thyself. What? And then I've been learning hieroglyphs, and what I realized what that meant, it was for everybody, because the pyramids, and I'm gonna educate you now. You probably didn't know the pyramids were institutions. They're institutions. They had education in there. So when the old to the young, when they walking, every time you walk in that temple, you change. You different. Who are you at this moment? And I think that's very critical what you said. If you do not know yourself, the expectations that you are placing upon others, it is just not fair. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, to go off of that, expectations is like a delicate balance. And if you don't know yourself, that balance could be broken very easy. Like if you have no expectations of yourself because you don't know yourself that well, then you allow others to control you. Not control you, but like those expectations become your own. And now it's like you feel like a victim. It's like, I don't want to have these expectations, but like others have them, so you're a people pleaser.
You have to live up to it.
And then like if you have too high of expectations of yourself, you take your expectations and you hear what other people's expectations are, and you let that weigh upon you even more. And that could break your back. It could break the camel's back. So it's a really delicate
I like how you put that, because you're right. Like if you do not, that goes back. If you don't know yourself, and you're trying to live a life that's not authentic to you. At the end of the day, I believe. Now, I'm not saying I'm gonna believe. I know we have to live our authentic self all the time. We got to be who we are. But this is the kicker. That's that. You got to give room for yourself to evolve and change.
Yeah, just because you know yourself today doesn't mean you know yourself like in a week.
Absolutely.
You're different.
After I got diagnosed with cancer, that changed me. And then after I, started healing, that changed me. But before I got married, I was different. But when I got married, I was different. Having daughters, different. So, and that's the thing. I think we have to. I didn't give myself grace. I expected too much upon myself, and I didn't give myself grace. I didn't give myself grace to be me.
Like you didn't allow your expectations to grow with you as a person. And I think like I see it as like when you're a flower in a pot. So like you could grow big and bigger, and you're a different flower than you were when you were like a little seedling. But if you don't get a bigger pot of expectations, or like a smaller one, and it just contains you, and you can't grow even more than what you should, because those roots are just contained.
It's funny you said that, because like that plant that I have in the corner, that plant can be huge, but since I've limited and I put it in a small pot,
then it's just that size.
It's a beautiful. But when my mother get here in May, we're gonna put it in a bigger pot, because now I'm ready for it to bloom and grow. So, and I think. I say that to align myself with what you said, is we got to allow ourselves to be in bigger pans, to be in this so we can grow. grow as an individual, to know who we are.
Yeah, it could be scary though. I think that's why a lot of people, like, they know they need space, but they don't want to give it to themselves because it's new, it's different.
Yeah.
And what people don't understand is the only constant is change. You hear that in every science video nowadays.
You know who's my favorite novelist?
I want to say Octavia Butler.
That's it. I love that woman. And her book, she said, God is change. Now, mind you, this is a fiction. Yeah, it's a fiction book, but it has so much relevance, and it's very spiritual. Like, I was so connected. But anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, well.
You so, because I tend to cut my daughter off, and I don't want to cut my daughter off. But when she said that word change, that just speared something towards me, because one of the things that I had placed upon myself when we were speaking of expectation is I didn't realize how I limit myself into changing. Oh my God. I expected myself to be this way all the time. That's why I had a hard time once I was diagnosed with cancer, because I expected myself to be this Iron Man, super soldier for the rest of my life. And that was
cut
away.
Terrible assumption.
Well, I don't say terrible, but because your expectation is based on your life experiences.
And your life experience up to that point is American Soldier.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm trying to think of the Marvel guy. I'm so sorry.
No, this is Black Panther.
Black Panther. Okay.
There you go.
You're trying to be Black Panther all your life, but you can't. You can't.
Don't be talking no Captain America. I'll choke you. No blonde hair, green eye, blue eye. I'm Black Panther.
Okay, Black Panther. Fine, whatever.
But you have anything else on your little questions that you wanted to propose to me? And while you're looking at that, I want the audience to know that daddy-daughter daycare and
daycare.
I said daycare. I'm bad. Daddy-daughter discussion. This wine is getting to me. I apologize. Daddy-daughter discussion. We're going to actually go YouTube. We're going to be live and in person this coming August. So continue to try to tune in with us, and you can reach me at Tyron Sutton1@gmail.com. It's spelled TYRON SUTTON1@gmail.com, and you can reach my daughter at
Giselle.Sutton@iCloud.com.
So there we go. So daddy-daughter discussion is going to be going hot and heavy live. But what else did you have for me?
Well, when the new year comes, people have expectations of themselves that they want to accomplish. Mm-hmm. Like, you could want to change all you want, but if you don't give yourself that space, it's like you want to change, but you don't want to change your life. You just want to change that one aspect of yourself. But when you change one aspect, it's like when you get a new heart, that changes your whole body.
Oh man!
Like, it changes the flow of your blood.
That's
not scientific, but like metaphorically.
No, actually, that's scientific. You're talking about when you get a new heart, right? Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So that new heart pumps different. It does things different. It can be stronger. It can be yeah. Like, my heart on the left side is dying. So it's just really starting to heal again. So that's why your daddy got his sexy back. But anyway, so you're right. You're definitely right. But anyway, I keep cutting you off. Go ahead.
That's basically it. Like, if you can't expect to change one part of your life, because that one part affects like everything. Like, when someone says, "I want to work out more," it's like, that's why people go to the gym more after January, but then stop once February comes.
Because they didn't put an expectation of placing discipline upon themselves, or being patient with themselves.
Yep.
Putting expectations, giving yourself grace. So you're right. It's a total body, mind, body, spiritual. It's a constant healing and change. So yeah, I like that.
Yeah, what can I say? I'm a word whiz, like you could say.
But I think, do you have anything else?
Not really. I just want to leave off on. I put some definitions here.
No, go ahead. We can. Me. Once you put a definition, you and I gonna probably go in deep.
So I searched up the Google definition. It says a strong belief that something will happen or be the case in the future. And my personal definition, an event or action that is favorable to you emotionally.
See, I like that. You know why? Because the first one, a strong belief. I don't like really using that belief thing because that's a strong opinion of something that you desire to be true. I like how you placed it because what you did is you put the onus upon yourself. And you said it's action. What did you say
An
again?
event or action that is favorable to you.
To you. You made it personal. You own it up to that thing. This is expectations I place about myself. I like that. Yeah, I told you. Hey, she's my daughter.
Yeah. Thank you.
But until next time, this is
The Triple D's or
Daddy-Daughter Discussion.